Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif, who appeared on America's ABC News This Week program, says Iran's right to enrich uranium for its peaceful nuclear program is non-negotiable.
Iran is prepared to negotiate. Negotiations are on the table to discuss various aspects of Iran's enrichment program. Our right to enrich is non-negotiable.
But you don't need to enrich it above 20%, which is only used for military purposes.
We do not need military-grade uranium. That is a certainty, and we will not move in that direction. But what is necessary is for the two sides to sit together and reach a common objective. We should not have two competing objectives.
On the issue of relations between Iran and the U.S., the Iranian foreign minister said Iranians are willing to forgive but not to forget.
Concrete steps, one after another. We have not forgotten the fact that when Iraq used chemical weapons against Iran, not only the United States didn't condemn it, it went out of its way to blame us for the use of chemical weapons. So these are all facts of history which are very fresh in the minds of Iranians. We are willing to show flexibility, not forget that. We may be willing to forgive, as President Mandela said once, but we're not going to forget.
But there's a lot of skepticism, as you know, about the...
For more on that story, we're joined by international lawyer Alfred Lamberman Weber, who's joining us from Vancouver. Mr. Weber, welcome to the program. Let's look at this from two different aspects. First of all, as a member signed to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, Iran has the legitimate right to enrich uranium. And also, on the other hand, the United States has to accept this as its legitimate and legal right. Is that true?
Yes, because I think now that what has been made clear is that the leader, the head of state of Iran has said that there's a fatwa, there's a prohibition. The state has now issued a prohibition to development of nuclear weapons. And there has been a statement now by the foreign minister that weapons-grade uranium, which is over 90% enriched, they will not go forward. Now, power stations only require at below 5% or between 5% and 20%. So I think that now both parties are going to the negotiating table. And what you see here is a certain positioning between the national security advisor and the foreign minister of Iran. But I think things are very clear that statements have been made that Iran is not, will not be going forward to enrich at weapons grade, which is over 90%. It will be doing under 20%. Down to 5%, which is enough for power enrichment. And then conversely, what the foreign minister said is that they expect some of the unreasonable sanctions to be raised. For example, that letters of credit be able to be opened. And I can vouch for that because here in Canada, they have the government of Canada has made it illegal for Canadians to receive any bank transfers from Iran, so that there has been a freezing of any transfers of any sort. So I think that both parties, the U.S. and Canada now, are now positioning themselves. As the foreign minister said, you do not negotiate over the air. And there don't seem to be any major problems, as far as I can see, in terms of the terms, only what the sanctions, the lifting of the sanctions will be.
Mr. Weber, if you can also elaborate on the issue of the legality and the legitimacy of Iran's right to enrich uranium for its peaceful nuclear program, and also the United States, on the other hand, always setting it as a precondition to get the talks going.
There is no question that under the NPT, Iran has the right to enrich uranium of non-weapons grade, that is a power station grade, which you would say would be between 5% and certainly under 20%. And also to sign the various inspection protocols and to allow the inspections. Now, that is going forward. So all of these are part of the negotiating infrastructure and part of the terms that will be negotiated. But the basic legal right is there, and so what had been stated all of this time was that Iran was intending to develop nuclear weapons, and there was no evidence of that because, in fact, Iran was enriching for nuclear power, as is its right. Now, I must say that other countries like Japan and the United States even have chosen now to go in other directions. On the one hand, because of the Fukushima disaster, which has let out a lot of radiation, ionizing radiation to the rest of the world. But those are policy issues. Those aren't legal issues.
Okay, thank you very much. International lawyer Mr. Alfred Lambremont Weber joining us from Vancouver.